let's go, because you know what I came here to do.
I don't get paid for overtime. I'm here to fight.
You see, Frank Martin, you can't get 50%, yeah, against an Olympian who has a higher profile than you. And you can't get 50% because that would mean Top Rank are forfeiting the purse bid to go into negotiation. If they let it go to the purse bid, Shakur being ranked number 1 and you being ranked number 2 ensures Shakur a higher percentage. You can't get 50%. No matter which way you want to fling it, my man, it's a duck. Quack, quack.
You gonna answer, Frank?
Yeah, he's gonna answer that. Quack, quack. There is no defense. Sanctioning fees have been paid on his behalf. Yeah? If you guys don't want title fights, alright, stop paying the sanctioning fees and getting ranked. And if the champions, you don't want to defend your straps, vacate. And we can get on with it. There's always going to be willing contenders who want to challenge for your vacant strap, who want to be mandatories like Frank Martin. Step aside.
And don't come back now, here.
Now, Frank is saying he didn't ask for 50 and he wants to fight. Well, why isn't the fight happening? As for Shakur, that 25% that Devin came online and offered, probably looking a better deal than dealing with Frank Martin and Gervonta Davis in the PBC, you know? And if it wasn't a real offer from Devin Haney, well, call his bluff. But you have nothing now. I mean, his promoter, who promotes both him and Vasyl Lomachenko, is in no hurry to put him in the ring with Lomachenko. So he's going to be struggling for opponents in the next couple of years, just like Terence Crawford when he was with Bob Arum, until he leaves and he can select where he wants to go, who's putting up the bread, who has the best lightweights or light welterweights out of the zone or the PBC. He can take his pick. But right now, Bob Arum can't do shit for him like he couldn't do shit for Terence. And I predicted this a long time back for this kid. A long time. Edwin Dos Santos up next for Shakur, perhaps. Apparently he's a good fighter. I need to do some research. To be honest, I just want to see Shakur fight. See what I mean? If none of the top guys want to fight him, I still want to watch him. He's excellent to watch. Edwin Dos Santos is PBC second tier, let's say. Not in terms of skill is what I'm hearing. Some people say he's just as good as Frank Martin, but in terms of popularity, Frank Martin being promoted by Errol Spence and whatnot. But that's what fighters like Terence Crawford has had to do when he couldn't get Garcia, Porter, Spence in the ring. He had to fight Molina, Felix Diaz, and now same is happening with Shakur. You know, PBC, rather than risk the big guns, they'll send the footmen out there and hope they can get lucky. It worked with Andy Ruiz and Joshua. Then PBC, LDBC, they trolled the crap out of me that night. It's all good. I shall return. I did say on Facebook that until Fury and Ngannou has been decided, I've already got Usyk and DUBOIS out of the way. But until these two fights are decided, you're not going to hear any announcements about this big heavyweight showdown in Saudi Arabia. Now, what they're saying is Skills Challenge are likely to pull out of any talks between AJ and Wilder. And Fury and his reluctance to take the Usyk fight has slowed up production. They don't want to put on half a show. They wanted to put on a game-changing show. They don't want to do half a job. But it's either the whole show or no show. That's all the information I have on it. Fury said he's not interested in Undisputed. I don't know if the guys running the Ngannou event, the Turkey Al Sheikh, are interested with working with Skills Challenge so they can get Fury and Usyk for Undisputed. Who knows? But AJ and Wilder by itself, there's no straps on the line. They're not going to give them all that bag, and they're not getting an undisputed title fight out of it. No way. If Skills Challenge are no longer interested in that fight, there's only two places it should go, and that's either America or London. I wouldn't mind seeing AJ go over across the pond to fight Wilder. I wouldn't mind seeing it at all. Now, talks apparently have come to a standstill in recent weeks. Eddie Hearn said he's determined to make Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. They're talking about this power shift in the East. They're saying Skills Challenge Entertainment, who Hearn has been negotiating with, has been replaced by a new entity that booked Tyson Fury's fight with Francis Ngannou. So Turkey Al Sheikh or Sheikh looks like they're the power brokers over there, and they're putting on Fury and Ngannou. Where does that leave Usyk with his deal with Skills Challenge? Where does that leave him? But, yeah, like I was saying, London or America. And Eddie's saying Wembley Stadium or Las Vegas. AJ should go Las Vegas. You already won big in Wembley. You need to do it in Las Vegas. That's where it needs to be. Eddie's saying if they can't lock in a date for January for that fight, then AJ will fight in December, which he should do. You need to stay active. Have your third fight. So Conor BENN has one demand for a potential Chris EUBANK fight at 160. Now, that's a big jump for Conor. But Conor says he doesn't want to catch weight. He just wants an 18-foot ring. That's pretty presumptuous that he believes EUBANK is going to allow Conor to chase him around the ring. That's pretty presumptuous. EUBANK is the bigger man. And maybe EUBANK will use a lot of the ring to make it difficult for Conor. But I don't think EUBANK will be afraid of a smaller ring. Wembley Stadium is looking a likely possibility. And I have a sneaking suspicion that Cali and Eddie are quite deep into negotiation. It's all about clearing up Conor BENN's suspension, which was lifted by the National Anti-Doping Panel, but appealed by UKAD and the board. Eddie Hearn will be hoping for a resolution to all that ASAP. Hopefully he's cleared up and we get that fight over here. It doesn't have the same appeal stashed away somewhere in the Middle East.
I got tested multiple times in Las Vegas during the camp.
3 times. Chris said he was tested 3 times in Vegas in the build-up for the Liam Smith fight. He also said there should have been VADA testing. It's hard to know what the board are playing at. I've heard that they've delayed the appeal. What are they playing at here? This is the weirdest response I've seen to a PED case in this country. This to happen in the UK, they would have to ask the board if they can have permission to fight over here. Although the suspension has been lifted, so he can fight over here. He does actually have a license, an American license. I don't know what state, but let's say if it's a New York State Athletic Commission license, he can fight over here and they would license the contest. Because when Frank Warren used the Luxembourg Federation for the Hay versus Chisora fight, for some reason that fight is still registered in BoxRec. But from what I heard, if you do not use the British Boxing Board of Control in the UK, your fights do not register in BoxRec.
Ain't mad about it, bro. I don't know if Danny said anything to spark that. I don't know, there's a few things. One, you didn't beat up a champion, bro. I don't think that Errol Spence would beat Sean Porter.
Well, what would that matter? Terence beat Sean Porter and Errol Spence, and you ducked him. But there was an opportunity for Keith Thurman to fight Errol Spence in 2015 for one of Floyd's titles. He was going to vacate one of his titles, I believe the WBA, and he declined it, saying that EJ needs to be more experienced. He needs a few more fights. So which one is it? Is it not cool to fight them past their prime, or when they're too inexperienced, in your opinion? I'm going to wait for Floyd to retire, and then I'm going to fight the up-and-coming lions like Errol Spence. Well, that's never happened. You didn't fight Errol Spence, and you didn't fight Bud. Errol Spence in 2015, 2016 was heat. He was heat. The facts are, Terence Crawford fought the best available Errol Spence he could. If he could have fought the 2015 Errol Spence, he would have fought him. That's the difference between him and Keith Thurman. Terence has had 9 or 10 welterweight fights, and he's knocked out everybody, and he's undisputed champion. Humble yourself, Keith. He's cleaned out everyone. You priced yourself out of fighting Terence Crawford for the WBO title. And actually, when Floyd did make the suggestion that Keith fight Errol Spence for one of his straps in 2015, Thurman asked for $10 million. You priced yourself out then as well. And I don't know what Danny Garcia's saying, but Crawford is throwing shots at him because they both avoided him when he was on Top Rank. And I have no problem with Crawford airing them out, saying you're not going to get a shot now. Well, what have they done to deserve a shot in recent times? Keith got a golden opportunity against an aged Manny Pacquiao, and he fumbled the bag big time. Talking about Pacquiao and his bing, 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 bing punches. And he got punched up by Manny. I was kicking myself after for picking Keith Thurman. Steve Bunce just won heavyweight championship fight this year, and I think that is only the second time in about 60 years. And there was just one champion back then. Ouch. Now, Fury's not going to defend his strap this year. That's obvious. Usyk only defended once. I'm going through Fury, Usyk, Wilder, AJ. Wilder hasn't fought for near on a year, a few weeks off a year. Usyk, one fight this year. Anthony Joshua's fought twice this year. So the top stars not doing as much as they can. AJ's fighting the most. You know, I'm not in the club calling Tyson Fury a great fighter. A great fighter wouldn't have abandoned the sport with the fans calling out for Undisputed to fight Francis Ngannou. A great fighter wouldn't have made that decision. The skill set, that's overrated too, because that can only be proven by a satisfactory sample size of opposition faced at the top level, and he's left too much food on the table. He's been binge eating off them 2 Wilder fights for way too long. Him, his fans, and the media who love him, they've been binging off that for way too long. He's not a great fighter. We need to start there. 4 straps, 2 champions, 1 world title fight, heavyweight title fight for the year. When the likes of Ali was champion and Mike Tyson, there was 2 straps when Ali was about, and Ali would fight 4 times a year defending his world title. Mike Tyson would have 4 world title fights a year, and that's when they were 3 straps. Steve Bunce was going back and forth in Twitter on that same post, telling us only 1 world heavyweight title fight this year, saying that Tyson Fury versus Ngannou is big business. You hate to hear it, but it's the truth. And all this shit. Like, how long have you been in boxing? Yeah, it does good business, but so did Usyk versus Fury. Fury didn't want the fight. You'd rather say things that TNT and Frank Warren want to hear than stuff that the boxing fans would want to hear. Because can't fuck up the accreditation and any other perks you get for telling us that is good business. I don't see you part as TNT. I don't see your name on the paperwork. I don't see you any part of the Saudi setup that's making the fight. Why are you telling us this exactly? Remember, he started bitching and crying because these nobodies were turning up to events and weigh-ins with their phones thinking they can do what I do. I've been doing this for how long? But you're a fraud. The correct thing to say would be we should be having an undisputed fight. Not all this bull crap. Fury already had a gimme against Derek Chisora late last year. What's going on? The WBC talking about AJ versus Wilder will be an eliminator. What they should say is, no thank you. No thank you. Let's not forget, after AJ beat Jermaine Franklin this year, he took the mic, post-fight, called out Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury went on to call out Jai Opetaia, MMA fighters and some other randoms, and then waited until AJ had a fight organized and a schedule to offer him a fight. And now Sullivan is telling us there are no mandatories. Tyson Fury is undisputedly the best fighter. It's up to them, but I wouldn't pay the sanctioning fee. And I don't reserve that just for Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. The other heavyweights in the top 10, they might as well stop paying the sanctioning fees. Because the narrative that Frank Warren is putting out there is nobody wants to fight Tyson.
Ha ha ha, I had to find that funny.
Frank Warren wants to sell a Daniel Dubois-Anthony Joshua fight now. Talks of stall between Wilder and AJ to see who's got the bigger heart. Now, Frank wanted EUBANK to fight Zach Parker. I don't think this is as crazy as that, though, to be honest. Daniel's got a little bit of a buzz after the low blow controversy, and Frank is prepared to cash him out now. He's already tested him against Joyce, and he fell short. Against Usyk, and he fell short. Frank even himself insinuated that he quit, but he put it in a nicer way. I wonder if Frank knows, though, there can be no negotiation on what network that fight's on. I can tell you this now, how the build-up's going to go. A lot of people are going to be very enthusiastic, hoping that Daniel can pull off the upset. And if AJ makes it very one-sided, they're going to talk about, how can AJ fight this guy? He's just coming off a loss. He's just a kid. What a cherry pick. Tell you what, man, Frank, twice now, 2 of his fighters are coming off bad stoppage defeats, and he's trying to put them in with guys who are coming off wins, who have way more marketability than Zach Parker and Daniel Dubois. Man's crazy. I believe Liam Williams put this post up and took it down, but you know what they say, deleting is cheating. He said, I'm retired from boxing. I'm not Liam the boxer anymore, so please no one speak to me about it or mention it. Thanks for all the support in the past. Well, Still relatively young at 31. 24 wins, 19 decided distance, 4 losses, 1 draw. He's won 1 out of his last 3. Last time out he won in the York Hall on a Wasserman card. Before that he lost to EUBANK, and before that he lost to Andrade. Challenging Andrade for his WBO title. His one and only world title shot. I don't think he had nothing signed long term with Cali or Nice on Wasserman. It looked like he went over to Pro Bellum before they folded up. Before that is with Frank Warren. Maybe the opportunities ain't opening up. I mean, he hasn't fought since November last year. He did take the post down, so maybe he changed his mind.